I got introduced to the patch by Patricia Conti Nelson, and she's been a wonderful influencer and always bringing me stuff. But she shared this patch with me, and probably about 2 or 3 days later, I was able to get a patch for samples. And so it's been quite an interesting journey since then. So she introduced it to me on January 20th, and then on January 22nd, I finally put a patch on.
So let me ask you, I know you did a lot of research because you're not one to take things just on, even though Patricia's influencing, you did your research. And what was it? Because I know there was something that really got you excited.
Yeah. So just after I got the patches, I got a sense to want to look a little bit further into some of the information. And I happened to find David Schmidt in some of the interviews. And a couple of things that caught my attention was that he was a Navy SEAL. And I'm from the military myself. I was in the Air Force. So I understand what a Navy SEAL needs to go through as far as their health and wellness. And then there was also, he had got out of the service and went into looking into anti-aging. And again, I really piqued my interest because I'm into trying to be as healthy as I can. And I've even put out there that I wanted to be, 150 years old with vibrant health. And then the next piece I heard about David was that, oh, he's talking about anti-aging. He wants to do 500 years. And that just said, I want to talk to that person. Okay, I want to know what he knows. So that's how I kind of got into the introduction to the patch and really decided to embrace this and really see what it would do.
All right, now, so you got the patch, and tell us a little bit about what you were looking for getting on it, because I know you keep yourself in good shape, but there were some conditions, and what happened when you got it and what you started to feel when you put it on.
Okay, so I've been having this kind of like saying that I've been doing is growing a new body over the years. And the experience that I got almost immediately after putting the patch on, now I'll back up, I guess, a little bit of injuries I had. So regrowing this body and my background with massage and that sort of thing. I understand about scar tissue and adhesions that happen in the tissue from the bangs and dings and bruises and bumps and all the other little potholes that we come across in the course of our life that I've accumulated. So I was trying to undo all of those from my understanding with massage and beyond. So my expectation was that if he's talking 500 years, let's see what I can really create with what I'm doing already. And so I immediately, when I got the patch and I put it on, I got this wave of a sensation that seemed to have come over me over the prior 2 days before I put the patch on. And then I found out about, and I'm into quantum as far as like Greg Braden and Bruce Lipton and those guys. And so I thought about the quantum aspect of it, that I was getting an effect from the patch even before I put it on. And that may have been placebo, I don't know. But anyways, as soon as I put it on, I got this really like sense of a wave of just, wow, things are softening in my body. And just almost like things were waking up, but it was kind of different feeling as I kept exploring what was going on at just that few moments that I had put it on. And it's interesting because it's kind of like, okay, what's going on? I'm not quite sure, but it kind of feels good, but I don't know. And so I keep going back and forth with some of that. And I've had that experience with other people too, looking at their face and they go, what's going on? I'm not quite sure. And I got that same kind of a feeling. I've got ankle injuries from twisted ankles. I had shoulder injuries from football. I've banged and bruised and bumped all kinds of things in my body. So I've been kind of rebuilding all of this stuff and understanding I need to really break up some of these adhesions that have developed over the years. And then when I got the patch on, it seemed like all of these areas, everything got soft. It was like every joint in my body got soft, but it was still engaged in a way that I felt very stable. But it was so different feeling that it felt very odd. And it keeps going that way as I keep experiencing more and more stuff. As I got into it, I started to feel, my clarity of thinking started to really improve. My vision, I noticed, started to improve little bits here and there. And I just noticed it the other day that I can see a little bit clearer in some of the small print. Almost don't have to use readers. I've been fighting that for a little bit. Don't go to the glasses now. So I'm looking forward to my eyesight even improving to the point where I can not use readers. Um, so I just keep going through a lot of different movements with Tai Chi and Qigong and 5 Tibetan rites and just doing movement for my body to see how much more I can get out of it. And I have found that when wearing this patch, it is really being able to give me the opportunity to take some of my movements even further without having some of the restrictiveness of the tightness in the tissue that I was feeling. So it's been really, really like phenomenal.
So you're able to see a difference in the way the body's muscles, tissues, and all that with the patch is like repairing and regenerating in a different way. Is that kind of like what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
And what about also your, I know you had some anxious issues and about your breathing as well.
Yeah, so I noticed that, there was times when, and I think all of us may experience this, where we want to get some things done and we start getting anxious and we want to get rush and all of that. And sometimes I get a little bit too anxious to try and get stuff done. But I noticed after the patch that that sensation kind of came up to want to hurry, but it was something inside of me, again, like this wave came over and said, no, everything's okay. You can just relax and go with it. And I would still keep moving, kind of quickly, but without that rushed feeling in the background, which I kept noticing.
Right, right.
I know.
And then I know you were a smoker for a while, and I know that you've had some mood changes. So can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah. So, I did smoke. I started smoking when I was 13 years old and I quit 20 something years ago. And so for my breathing, I started to notice over the course of the following week that when I was breathing, I noticed that it seemed that oxygen was getting into places that hadn't been there before. But it was kind of odd feeling. I don't know if anybody's ever experienced having the flu or something and feeling like there's this openness but congestion when it's a flu. But this was just opening up to areas that seemed to just get more oxygen. And it was really like feeling good.
And now I wanted you, I know you have a lot of stories and your family has been greatly impacted with this. Can you tell us about what's been going on with your children, what the history is that they have of this disease and what changes they have seen?
Mm-hmm. So I have 3 biological children and a stepson. Now, two of my biological children and a stepson, they all have a form of muscular dystrophy. And I'm always trying to find something to enhance their health and their well-being so that they can, live some vibrant life, whatever they got. And so these patches came along. I'm going to go, oh, wonderful. Let's try something new. Well, over the period of just before I put the patches on them, I happened to come across one of the testimonies from Alec Cullen. And he said he had muscular dystrophy. Then I found out he had myotonic dystrophy, which really almost brought me to tears because my children and grandson have myotonic dystrophy. And it's myotonic means it's systemic. So it really affects many systems in the body, not just, if you want to say, the musculature and movement. I started pretty much with my daughter, and she's my youngest daughter, and she's 31. And I applied a patch on her, and almost instantaneously, she kind of had this look on her face as if to feeling a little woozy, but it wasn't a bad woozy. It was just that something was shifting in her body. I mean, this was happening all in a matter of like not even a minute. And then she just kept getting almost like, again, like these waves coming over her and saying, geez, I feel like my body just got softer, you know, but still engaged. And she just kept saying that. And this went on for about a good 15, 20 minutes after she put the patch on. And she just kept getting more and more kind of like interested and curious. What's happening to my body? Because things were shifting, but they felt more like balancing than anything else. Um, and so she's had, and then another experience I had with her, she came in with back pain. And I said, okay, great, let's see what we can do. I put the patch on the spot where the pain was, and almost within 5 seconds, she says, it just got soft. And then over the course of another minute or two, she started moving around trying to find the pain. And she was looking and she had this look like, okay, where is it? And then she leaned up against my bureau again to where she really felt the pain. The pain was not there at all. It was really kind of fun to watch her expression because it's like, okay, where's the pain? It was just there a minute ago, but it's not there no more. What happened? What just went on? How could that happen in just a few like moments? And so that was her experience. And she keeps getting, you know, little pieces of wellness starting to get up more in her body. She's the first one. Um, and then I have, you know, JJ, who's my oldest son, and he's got it much more severely. The men get it more than the women do as far as they age. And JJ, he noticed that he just felt like he slept a little bit better. And I noticed he had a little bit more energy during the course of the day. And so it's going to take, I know with him a lot longer because he has more issues. And then there was Jared, who's my stepson.
But
But he
wait, I
also
wanted
has,
to ask one thing about JJ. Does he have headaches? Was there something?
yes. In fact, all three of them have major headaches all the time. And so we're always trying to find something to help relieve these headaches. So there was one here when we talk about a headache, one of my stepsons, the stepson, Jared, he had a major headache one day. And I said, okay, this is a great idea. I had the X39 on his C7, and we said, let's try something. We put the ice wave on his third eye or in his forehead. And he almost immediately said, wow, I feel this like coolness. And then he had also had taken some of Motrin or migraine tablet a little earlier, which I didn't know. And so within a half an hour, he comes back to me and he says, I don't have a headache at all. And he really expressed it as if that he's had, you know, the relief from the medication that he took, but it didn't seem to be nowhere near the amount of relief that he received after having the patch put on. And since that time, Jared, he has been raving. He comes up and he says, I love these patches. Okay. He is like, I feel like my body is in silk and it's just soft, but I'm engaged and I just feel so much better.
Well,
And I mean, it just keeps going. And this is only, of course, over, well, let's see, 3 weeks we've been into this.
I know.
And it's been just, I mean, it's almost like every hour something new seems to show up to give me oh my goodness, what have we got here now?
And this is amazing. I know there's a few more things, but I want to get to the one last story about your friend and that you recently shared this with.
Okay, so you might be talking about the woman that slipped on the ice?
Yes.
Okay, so just the other day, I went to present the patches to this colleague that has a little bit of a wellness center. And the day before, she had fallen on the ice and she had banged her hip really hard and she had also banged her head. Now, she also is a cancer survivor. She's had some major brain damage. She's still functioning, but there's still, you know, some damage that's been done up there. So I went, oh, great. This must have been a universal thing to happen so that we could try this. And she just says, oh, you, I got to get hurt for this? No. Anyways, I, uh, I said, okay, let's try out something. We put a patch X39 on her C7. And then I also took a X39 and I put it on her right hip where she was having the pain. I said, let's put it right on that spot. We put that on her spot. And over the course of, I think it was not even 5 minutes, and she starts to move around and she starts to do a little squat and she's twisting and turning. She's got that look like my daughter had on it. Okay, wait a minute. Where did it go? Okay, and she's moving around and she's still trying to find the pain, and she's not finding it in the hip that she fell on. Okay, it really had diminished, and she shared that it went from a 9 down to about a 5. She also shared that her neck has always been this creak, crack, crunch, crunch that she does all the time. She started to move her neck around, and she started going, wait a minute, it's not there anymore. And she says, my neck just went from like an 8 to a 2. Just, oh my goodness. And I'm watching this, and it's still, I'm in awe of watching all of this happen right in front of my face in the matter of time that it's going in just minutes.